Omo, how far? If you're just coming, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So this video was made by Penguin Z. For those of you that don't know, Penguin Z is one of the biggest YouTubers on YouTube. He has more than 10 million subscribers. But he was talking about a situation involving Justin Roiland. Justin Roiland is the co-creator of Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty is one of my favorite shows. And apparently he was in a situation that was very, very negative. I don't know what the situation is. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
This week, Rick and Morty fans got jump scared with some of the worst news they've received since the Szechuan sauce riots of 2017. God rest all those lost souls. With some very serious, troubling news that broke about Justin Roiland. He was arrested on felony domestic violence charges as well as a false imprisonment charge for an incident that took place in 2020. Now, much like everyone else, I was very surprised by this news. I think most people were shocked. This isn't a situation where there was a lot of people wiggling a finger saying, "I told you so, you should have listened to us." This was something that caught most people off guard. These are serious charges he's facing, and a lot of people, myself included, were also confused on what a false imprisonment charge is in this situation, because I think most of us assumed that was something that only a law enforcement officer or someone in that position could be charged with. So I had to look it up myself. And to be fair, you have to have a pretty high IQ to understand false imprisonment charges. So in this case, he's being charged with false imprisonment by way of menace, violence, fraud, and or deceit, which bumps this from a misdemeanor up to a felony. It levels up the charge here. It goes plus ultra, and it basically boils down to keeping someone against their will by intimidating them, scaring them, threatening them, what have you. So it's a very serious thing. That's not some like joke charge by any means. And of course the domestic violence charge is the one that catches most people's eye because that is just fucked up. Especially because it's a domestic battery with corporal injury. Now the victim here is an anonymous person who is remaining a Jane Doe for this case. A lot of the details of this case are being kept private and won't be released to the public. But basically, it was someone that Justin Roiland was dating at the time, and this incident occurred in 2020. He pled not guilty to the charges, also posted a $50,000 bail, and this has been an ongoing legal battle ever since. He's gone to very many hearings about this. He recently went to a pre-trial. The trial date hasn't been set yet, but this is a very serious case which carries real jail time, should he be found guilty on all of these charges. Now, Justin did plead not guilty, and his legal team seems very confident, stating, "It's hard to overstate how inaccurate the recent media coverage of this situation has been. To be clear, not only is Justin innocent, but we also have every expectation that this matter is on course to be dismissed once the district attorney's office has completed its methodical review of the evidence. We look forward to clearing Justin's name and helping him move forward as swiftly as possible." So they seem to believe that this will just be dismissed pretty soon. I am a little confused on what inaccuracies they're talking about when people are just saying like, hey, this is going on at the moment, which is kind of provable, right? Like he did get charged with these things, he just hasn't been found guilty of them. I'm all for shitting on journalists and the media coverage of things. They can gargle the dirtiest part of my butthole, but in this case, they're kind of just stating like, this is an ongoing thing, which it is, which you're also confirming. So I don't exactly know what specific inaccuracies is being referred to here, but it is important to note that he has not been found guilty on these charges or anything like that at the moment. This was actually just the first of many dominoes to fall in a very bad week for Justin Roiland and for just general fans of his work. A lot of news was breaking about Justin Roiland having a pretty predatory past in terms of how he talks to fans through DMs and shit. None of the text messages and DMs that have been leaking have been completely confirmed as real or verified as of the moment, so I won't really bother showing them. They are turbo cringe, and I, again, don't know if they're real or not, but they're out there. There's a lot of them as well. But one thing that is confirmed is that his game studio, Squanch Games, did actually have to settle a sexual harassment lawsuit back in 2019.
What?
No, that's news to me. Justin Roiland had some more shit come out today.
What?
Uh-oh. That's no good. He's going to need a Mr. Meeseeks out there ASAP to do some damage control.
Wow, I didn't even know it was that bad. Because, yeah, like I said, co-creator of Rick and Morty, he also has a game studio. Funny enough, I think they released a game late last year that's called High on Life. If you're into games, you can check it out. He has a lot of good reviews. Like, so now you see, now what we're saying is there's been a history of this, and usually there is these things happening and then maybe being swept under the rug for some reason or another. So he's already been charged for sexual assault before, and him and his company, his game studio, have already settled that case before. Now, because they said it was the game studio, I'm sure he specifically said it was the game studio and not he himself. So we don't necessarily know whether it was some staff that were under his watch or whether it was him himself, but they shall know that it was employees on that were working for the game studio themselves. So that one is another interesting dimension to veer into, but let's stay on track.
Also, it just came out that Squanch Games was sued in 2018 for sexual harassment, discrimination, and wrongful termination. Goodness gracious, jeez, Rick. Oh, yeah. Justin Roiland's Squanch Games quietly settled a sexual harassment lawsuit in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy, Rick. Sounds like things were getting a little too swifty over at Squanch Games. That's no good. Yeah, they glorbed right out of the trick hole on that one, huh? Jesus Christ. All of this coming out all at once with Justin Roiland. The floodgates are fully open.
I tell you.
Overall, the whole situation's extremely sad. Even if you don't like Justin Roiland, this isn't something to celebrate. This isn't something that anyone should want to see. Because if he's found guilty on these charges, that means there was a very real victim who suffered greatly. And that's horrible.
True.
Now, I'm not a huge Justin Roiland fan these days. I don't dislike Rick and Morty. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but I always enjoyed it. I just haven't really felt like watching it recently. But I didn't like High on Life. I dropped it after a few hours. The writing just became an actual headache.
Oh, really?
And I'm no fan of fourth wall breaking. I don't find it extremely comedic. So when you press pause in the beginning of the game and then you unpause and it's like, you just pause the game? You just pause the game during a firefight? Are you dumb? How could you just pause the game? You just paused the game during this gunfight? Oh man, we got a real stupid guy here because you just paused the game during a firefight because you weren't thinking, pausing the game. I can't believe you paused the game. Just droning on and on and on. I couldn't deal with it.
I get.
So I didn't really like High on Life, but I did like Rick and Morty. And I'd say on the whole, I was pretty tired of that just over-explaining every single joke, stuttering on every single joke. It very much wore off on me, and I stopped enjoying the shtick. So even still, as someone who's not the biggest fan of his recent works, I don't want him to have been someone that beat and falsely imprisoned the person that they were dating.
Yeah.
And if he did do that, I'm hoping the victim gets the help they need to get through this situation, because that shit is traumatic, I imagine.
Yeah.
So I'm wishing them the absolute best. It would be a disservice and downright criminal of me not to mention the memes that have spawned from this whole situation. With so many people being pretty tired and exhausted of Justin Roiland's style of writing, as well as High on Life being extremely divisive, people have taken the opportunity to just go hog wild, making jokes about all of this, referencing Pickle Rick, talking about how this is the wrong Justin Roiland. The Justin Roiland that's, being talked about with this domestic violence charge is actually Justin Roiland of Universe C-137. That's Felon Roiland. Shit like that. Just a non-stop waterfall of memes. A lot of people have wondered, if he is found guilty, what it means for the future of Rick and Morty. It's such a cash cow. A lot of people, like myself, think that they'd probably try and continue it without him, but then it would just slowly whittle away and die.
Yeah.
Just slowly ferment and rot. Because not only is he the main voice actor for Rick and Morty, he is also a writer on it. So if he is found guilty, I don't know how you replace him. The show's quality would be in the shitter, and it'd fall off really hard. But I do think they would try and continue it without him, but it wouldn't be successful. That would be my thought if he's found guilty here. But of course, the main thing to focus on isn't necessarily the future of Rick and Morty. It's on whether or not someone was truly beaten and falsely imprisoned by this guy, because that is absolutely fucking horrible.
True.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over this situation a little bit here, since it's one I've been glued to for the last few days to see any new developments and what's going on with the whole thing. It's a pretty sad set of circumstances overall, and yeah, just wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya.
Whew. Well, there's so much to unpack, man. even more than has been unpacked. You have a machine has different parts. Like let's say you have a car, then you have the engine, you have the gearbox, you have the axle, you have the wheels, But this guy is the engine, man. It's the engine. If he's not the engine, he's literally the key component of the engine. Rick and Morty are two characters in the show. They are the two main characters. He's the voice for the two main characters. Do you understand? And they are not your generic voices. Like if you watch Rick and Morty, you know that those voices are not voices that can easily be replicated. He's just one of the guys, talents as a voice actor and still co-creator and still one of the key writers of the show. Like Rick and Morty will not be where it is today without this man, and he has now gone to do this, or allegedly, do this, which is just terrible. And then, like he said, man, you cannot. Sometimes it's always hard separating the art from the person. Always think that because these people have produced so much, have made a lot of people happy, have created a lot of jobs, at least from the production of Rick and Morty and stuff like that. They've done so much for a lot of people, through entertainment primarily, that you think that okay, these people have to be saints, or maybe not necessarily saints, but you always want to give them the benefit of the doubt, if situations like these ever arise. But as you can see, man, no more, the evidence is stacked against him, and then it's like the more time is going on, the more evidence of stuff that he may have done in the past is still coming up. So at the end of the day, there's no real justification for this guy, but overall sad. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you want me to react to more Penguin Z videos, as stuff comes out and stuff like that? Do you want me to react to more of his videos? If you do, please let me know in the comments. If you want me to react to more videos like this, but maybe not from Penguin Z himself, also let me know in the comments. And yeah, like and subscribe if you watched until this point. Thank you. I appreciate you. And if you have nothing to lose, you have all to gain. Bye bye.